instead of thinking of it as, oh God, there'll be so much effort, I started really finding so much beauty in that. Like, I don't think collaboration works for everybody always. One thing that I make sure I do is I write like letters and I write little things to myself to kind of look back. I've never seen so much growth in my life before in terms of people connecting to my music.
This is Radio City Indie, and the artist of the month is here. Artist of the month? No, that's a very small term. I think she is artist forever. Kamakshi Khanna in the house. Hi, Kamakshi.
Hi, thank you for having me, Vijay, and for calling me artist forever. I really hope I live up to that.
Oh no, of course, onwards and upwards. Because what a journey have you had, my woman. I'm sure it's just onwards and upwards from here. That's it. That's all I can say.
Thank you. I'm excited for all the music that's coming.
So for our listeners and for our viewers who have joined in, Kamakshi is here this month with us to promote her recent release, Duur, which ironically has happened right after her last release, qareeb. And these are two very contrasting, paradoxical terms in it just for song titles. But before we get to that whole, because I'm sure she's already having a ball just dealing with too much fun, too many puns happening over these two songs. So I want to firstly begin with Kamakshi. Um, why was Dur the song that you wanted to make, and what was the idea behind?
So it's a long story, but Duur is
Okay.
actually technically the first time that I started writing in Hindi. It's very old. The hook that you hear in the chorus was written in
Yeah.
2017, and then I abandoned it for a really long time. I didn't really know what I was writing about. I think the meaning, the story, the message that I was trying to say kind of evolved
Hmm.
along the way after I kind of collaborated with first, like the pre-chorus and chorus was something that I wrote sitting with my parents actually. That whole line, which is "Gehre gehre pani jaise gehre hai ye pal,"
Oh
was
wow.
me sitting with my parents and coming up with ideas, and they really helped me. And then the song was abandoned for years, and I reached out to a really incredible artist and friend, Sameer Rahat. I'm sure like you've heard his album, and he's just like huge shout out to him. He was so lovely to work with, so open minded, and one of those lyricists who basically first wants to know what you're trying to say. Like wouldn't come into the
Yeah.
room, uh, you know, a preconceived notion of what the song should be about or his own ideas and his own experiences. He really tried to understand where I was coming from, and then met me halfway, and then kind of brought his own story, his own personality to the song. So the song is what it is because of him. A huge part of it is the fact that he wrote the lyrics with me. Um, so yeah, and that's when the story kind of evolved and became what it is. And we're finally releasing it now. We finally released it now, and I reached out to Kabir Karpalia after that to
Yeah.
produce this. He did this incredible job. So it's one of those songs that took a while to make sense, took a while for to reach a point of satisfaction, a huge amount of time. But it was a song I didn't want to give up on, and I'm glad that I didn't, and I'm so happy that it's seeing the light of day.
Well, for our viewers and listeners, all I can say is I remember Kamakshi putting out a story sometime earlier this winter where she was actually giving many of her followers a small tease of the collaboration that was about to come, where she spoke very highly about, oh, I have a collaboration coming out with the Sameer Rahat. And I think I was one of those few fans who was extremely excited that I reached out to her saying that please tell me this is happening soon. And here we are. And I mean, of course, you spoke in length about Sameer, but if you could also tell us how you reached out to Kabir. First of all, for many who can't really pronounce his stage name, what is his stage name exactly pronounced as? And how, of course, did Karun and Arsh, I think
Yeah.
Arsh had created the music video of Kareeb also earlier. How did this whole, this whole force of collaboration come?
So honestly, it was one of those, um, like as an artist, I feel like I'm very, uh, in a good way, I think, reckless about like, I have this one idea and I just reach out to the person. Like, I just love
Right.
Kabir's production. I love his music, especially his song For a While and Heavy Headed. And I don't know why I was
Yeah.
like, the idea that I have for Duur right now initially was actually very old school with the guitar, the same stuff that I've been doing for so many years. And I wasn't convinced with that. So I kind of wanted to reach out to someone who will totally give me a new perspective on my own music, because sometimes as an artist, especially during a year like this, you're so stuck with your own thoughts, your own notions, and your own experiences that I really am excited to work with people who challenge that, who bring their own story into the picture. And that's why I reached out to Kabir. And it took a while to get the song to a place where both of us were, really excited and really happy. But initially, the first scratch he sent me, I was like, this is it. This has to be explored. It was so exciting. He just had this little synth part which you hear in the beginning, and the vocals, and just some really nice bass. And it was exactly the kind of
Yeah.
direction that made sense. And then I kept hearing the song, and I felt like something was really missing. And for me, I love live drums in music, even if it's singer-songwriter music, even if it's artists like The Staves, like Lucy Rose, Birdie. As much as our music is really minimal and tasteful and vulnerable, I think the beats and the drums really bring life to the song. And I wanted to explore that direction in terms of the arrangement. So I reached out to Karun, who plays in my band in Bombay, and we've been working together on so much music. And he recorded everything from home, sent it, and then Prathamesh mixed it, who works with Kabir.
Yeah.
And it was somehow the whole team was this Bombay team. And it was the opposite with qareeb, where everybody was from Delhi. So there are a lot of
From
parts
Delhi.
about so that, you've gone Duur, so you're looking for a team also from Bombay. So, but it wasn't like an intentional thing. I wasn't saying that, oh, I'm only going to work with, Bombay musicians for this or Delhi. It just happened to be that way. And the interesting part is nobody who's worked on Duur has met each other before, or knows of each other. So
Oh.
we have never met. And this is something that came to my notice during an Instagram live chat where I was happily like pretending like everybody met each other and it's a party. Yeah, this, that happened, And then Karun was like, we've never met each other, right? And then it hit me because Karun's come over so many times in my Bombay
Right.
flat. Kabir has. We've been friends for so long, but I didn't realize that they've never met each other. And I thought Sameer, Kabir, obviously they all must be hanging out in the Bombay scene. And I am this like,
Yeah.
I was like the outsider in my head because I was like, I'm
Right.
from Delhi, but actually it was all of them connecting through the song, which was really nice to see that. And it's all happened behind our screens, all through the internet, calling each other, trying to make things work, trying to make things meet. So it's been such a great learning to get this song out there. And then moving on to how I work with Arsh. I mean, we didn't really intend to do a music video, by the way. Before I knew that Arsh was a stop motion artist, I've always known that she's an incredible photographer. So we thought we'd do a really nice photo shoot, and we had that whole double exposure idea that you see on the artwork. But what happened was that I don't know, like we were just talking, why don't we just do a music video? This is a song that we feel like needs a music video, and like a week into having that, a week before we actually shot it, I just asked her, I was like, why don't you come up with an idea, like why don't we shoot something, why not, and she came up with this really cool thing, and all the things that she said, like you'll fall back and there'll be water here. I was like, how will we do that with 3 people in a studio? How is that going to work?
I know for a fact that it's a very funny scenario to shoot this music video. I think y'all were drilling holes into PVC pipes for the water to splash around you. There was butter paper. What was
Yeah. I remember going to Beersarai market and being like, how much butter paper do you need? What dimensions do you need? Like, things like that, little
Oh God.
art max. And it was right, very like, before things got really terrible with this wave. And, we like, right after that, it's been a lockdown, like, haven't gone anywhere. So it just happened at the right time, touch wood. But, and it was just a very small team of people. All of us were, at home. It was just 3-4 of us actually. Arsh basically came up with the whole concept, and she was like, okay, we need PVC pipes, we need Bisleri water, we need hair dryers. So there's this one scene that we're going to be sharing soon, which is really interesting. It looks like that
The
part, which
behind
is,
the scenes?
yeah, like just me falling back, that part is basically
Right.
me, who was the stylist and one of my best friends from college, and Deepika holding two massive hair dryers. And each time I would fall, they had to like put it on at exactly that second. And Ash would shoot it
Oh
from
my God.
the light. There was the assistant who was holding the light and then would take it away at the right time. That's why you see this blackout when I fall. Otherwise, you'll be able to see Deepika and Mitri behind me holding hair dryers, which would be really funny. So
Oh
it's
my
been
God.
fun making these things work and learning, and for all of us, I think, through this song. So I'm excited to share the BTS footage. We're still working on that, but yeah, so that's how we did the music video. Yeah.
For our viewers who are watching this clearly, for there's nowhere else one can explain it that behind all the wonderful sights that you see, in the music video, this is the effort that has actually gone behind making it, where your artist has to lean against two hair dryers for that perfect shot. Fabulous. Kamakshi, if you have to look back at your career in retrospect, you started with your EP Much Mellow in 2014. You were one of the top six contestants on the stage, and then you had Cakewalk, your debut album in 2017, Qareeb now in 2020, and now Duur in 2021. What a rise has it been? What a journey has it been? Just going from strength to strength. Um, as an artist, how satisfied you feel, or sometimes you feel like, okay, I can pause for a while, just look back and feel a sense of satisfaction, or you feel like, no, I really have a lot to go and achieve.
That's a great question, and to be honest, I think it's a lot of back and forth. I have moments where I pause and I chill and I celebrate. I actually do that a
Right.
lot. I One thing that I make sure I do is I write like letters and I write little things to myself to kind of look back. And I do this a lot. I look back at my journey, assess how far I've come or not, or failures, mistakes, everything. But one thing I like, how you said that, when you're an artist, the process and the effort that goes into it, instead of thinking of it as, oh God, there'll be so much effort, I've started really finding so much beauty in that. Because I realized when you see the end product, then it's done, then it's gone, then it's the world's problem if they like it or not. But it's the process that's really fun for me now. Like it's the making the song, working with the people, music video, thinking, ideating. That's what brings me the most amount of joy. So I try and focus on that, and I think that keeps changing. And as long as I'm having fun doing that, you know,
Yeah.
everything will be fine. So I think much mellow, and throughout, I think I've really learned how to invest in myself as a human being and as an artist, and met so many people who believed in me and wanted to work with me, and people who made the whole process so much fun. And I want to just keep having that. Like I want to just bring people who I like and work with them and create new things, challenge, and especially this year, the reason it took so much time after Cakewalk was because I needed to pause. I needed to think
Yeah.
because releasing an album is not something you should rush. And I totally did.
Yeah.
I totally did that album. And I had so much music, which I still haven't released since then. And I was like, okay, this something needs to make sense. Things need to align. I need to think a little more. And I need to take a break. So I
Yeah.
started really getting into teaching. And then I finally felt ready when the world went into a lockdown, which is the irony of it. I always had this idea that when I release my music, there'll be a tour, I'll be traveling, and none of that happened, which is okay. But it was interesting how it happened during the most challenging year, and I've never seen so much growth in my life before in terms of people connecting to my music, in terms of even things like numbers. So I feel like everything's so unpredictable, but as long as you're enjoying the ride and enjoying the process, it's good. So,
Since Dhoor is a product of such an incredible collaboration. Do you think collaborations are the way forward for the independent scene at large to flourish?
Absolutely. I also think it's very cool to be the kind of artist who does everything yourself. Like there's so many artists who produce themselves, write themselves. Uh, so it's totally to each his own. Like I don't think
Yeah.
collaboration works for everybody always. I've had situations where there's some songs which I feel I want to have more control over. But there's some songs that I
Hmm.
feel like I really want new perspective. So it totally depends. But yes, collaboration is lovely. Sorry about that. Collaboration is an incredible way of learning more about what to do. And I think one thing that I'm really happy I've learned how to do is ask for help and when I'm stuck. So I think that's something that artists should do when they feel stuck. Like it's, even if you're someone who's starting out and you're writing your first song, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do anything alone. And that's such a liberating feeling. Even if you're stuck alone in your room, there is any musician anywhere is a call, a message, a text away. And that can really bring so much joy to what you do and make you feel less alone in the process. So from that point of view, yes, collaboration is amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic. Lastly, Kamakshi, before we end the interview, I just want to ask, I mean, how much of this fun is now widespread between Qareeb and Duur, two completely contrasting terms to both your songs? I mean, how much of this is now a joke, an insider's joke in your circle?
It's, we had this little clubhouse chat about the process. Yes, we
Which
did.
is now the new normal.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, we did it. We had a little room where we were talking about the process. There was Arsh, Sameer, Karun, Kabir, Deepika, Anirudh, everybody who worked so
Oh
hard to
yes,
get.
I was a part of that. Are you talking about your listening session, the pre party before the premiere? Yes.
So that's when everybody, like Dhruv Vishwanath was on the call, Hanita, like all my friends. And one after the other, everybody was just coming up with puns, which was so hilarious. And so the truth is, I probably need to learn more words in Hindi. I need to think a little. But it just happens to be so. Dur was actually the first song, first chorus that I
Yeah.
wrote. Then Kareeb came along. So totally a coincidence. Wrote them at very different times, very different. I had no idea that I would be releasing either one of them. I just wrote them. But I think there is some truth to the fact that they're the opposite on a very subconscious level. I do feel like as an artist and as a human being, I have a lot of duality. I can go from I live in extremes, and I don't even know if it's healthy, but I do go from being
You're a
extreme
Gemini. I guess it ends there. The reason ends there.
represent like Gemini represent fully, and even
Yeah. So duality is a Gemini's inherent trait, no?
and it's there. It's very much there, and it comes out in my music as well. And
Yeah.
you will the more music I release, there's the next song is also a collaboration, which I'm excited to talk about soon. That's totally different from Dur, totally different from Kareeb. After that, there's another. So I like pushing myself into these extreme situations in life, and that's what brings me excitement and thrill and joy. So I think after Kareeb, instead of following it up with a similar song, I decided to take like full U-turn visually or like in terms of the sound, everything, message, and see how people respond. And I'm so happy that people were open about it and are letting me explore myself as an artist and do whatever I want. And there are no rules to it anymore. So that's been really fun. Yeah.
Just a bonus question, actually, for some of our viewers who would love to know. Indie musicians whom you've been listening to. I mean, for me, the whole of the lockdown last year was all about discovering new voices and some really fine voices. So, young indie artists that you've heard and you really feel like, wow, I really love what they
Ah,
do.
there's so many. At the top of my head, I'm really loving Shubham Kabra, his song Sham. I don't know if you heard it.
Yeah,
The
I've
beautiful
heard it. It's
discovered.
beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful.
I heard it on Clubhouse. Then Frizzell has been around like for a while, but I really love her. And I really love everything she does. And So many. They're just, but at the top of my head, these are the two that I've really like, like whenever they put out something, I'm always like, excited to check it out. So yeah, there's so many more though.
Fun fact, I was expecting you to say Frizzle, and I'm so happy you did, because I think when it comes to just radiating positivity, the minute I look at anything that both of you upload, I think that's the one thing you have in common. It's so pleasant to just go through whatever you guys put out on Instagram, because you both have such pleasant personalities. It's like, the vibe only both of you generate is so positive, and it's so beautiful.
Thank you. And I
I
really
don't
love
know.
how, yeah, I really also love how effortlessly she sings. Like, if she like, plays the
Yes.
guitar, sings very like, very mad, like, her, it's very pure and genuine, and she's not pushing her voice and pushing herself. Like, it's very easy to listen to, and it seems very genuine to me. So yeah, I really like Frizzell.